Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
We are loaded up with stuff today. Just a ton of things to talk about. NCAA tournament got going over the weekend for some. Some teams forgot to show up. My Cougars lost to UCLA.
Oh, yeah.
It's over. Done.
Is your bracket okay, though?
I didn't do a bracket.
Oh, you didn't do a bracket?
No. But I don't, my bracket would have had BYU going further than they went.
Yeah.
That's for sure. They would play, had they beaten UCLA, they'd play Abilene Christian in the second round. Ah!
Yeah, but Abilene Christian
beat Texas.
They're Sweet 16 bound, like Oral Roberts.
So I think have they won 2 or just 1 so far, right?
Oh,
They played today.
Wait, no.
They're in the round of 32, I think, that goes today.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
I get so messed up because it's supposed to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It's different this year.
And it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. My stupid COVID.
So there is a team who really unexpectedly is already in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
And that was, we were just watching now.
Oral Roberts.
Yeah. Yes, Oral Roberts had a big win on Saturday and Thursday. Friday?
Friday they beat Ohio State, and last night they beat Florida.
Florida last night.
Arkansas is next.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And then you got remember that 101-year-old chick who goes to the Loyola Chicago games?
All right,
they're still in it.
She had BYU going to the Final Four though.
Did she really?
So that messed up her bracket a little bit. Yeah. And she picked, I think, Loyola of Chicago to go to the Elite Eight, if I'm not mistaken. And they're already in the Sweet 16. So it's been an amazing tournament with a lot of upsets. And then, of course, the big news, the inequality over the weekend. We found out about the disparity between the girls' workout room and the men's, the boys' workout room. There's a little bit of a difference. Do we have...
I got something to show y'all.
Uh-oh.
So for the NCAA March Madness, the biggest tournament in college basketball for women, this is our weight room. Let me show y'all the men's weight room.
Just a few dumbbells.
Right. There's the men's.
Wow, it's a palace.
Yeah. It's got a lot of equipment in it.
Yeah.
And then...
Now, when pictures of our weight room got released versus the men's, the NCAA came out with a statement saying that it wasn't money, it was space that was a problem. Let me show y'all something else. Here's our practice court, right? And then here's that weight room. Okay. And then here's all...
So you're saying they could have squeezed one more thing in there?
Space.
Maybe.
If you aren't upset about this problem, then you're a part of it.
That's good.
So the NCAA is like, what? What did you need? What do you? What are your girls? You don't work out like that. We brought you some yoga mats. We even sanitized them. Go ahead and do your yoga or your jazzercise, whatever kind of cute little things you guys do.
If you'd panned over, you would have seen the bonbons, but you didn't show those, did you? But that's good stuff right there.
That's good stuff. Yeah, I mean that's ridiculous. I could provide somewhat of a defense for the NCAA.
Because their defense was there's not enough space, and she immediately showed, oh, yes, there is.
There's also a disparity in the amount of money the tournaments bring in. For instance, the men's tournament brings in over $1 billion. Over $1 billion. The women's tournament doesn't. I mean, the women's tournament brings in, and this isn't even accurate, $41.8 million. As compared to $1 billion? Come on. So when you look into the $41.8 billion, that's not even all from the girls' tournament.
$41.8 million?
$41.8 million, yes. That's not even all of it. That's not from the girls' NCAA basketball tournament. That also includes some other sports in there.
Oh, wow.
I'm looking for...
If you're going to be... First of all, perception is reality.
Yeah.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
And the NCAA is at the leading edge of the equality battle, right?
They are.
Equality.
So you can't do this.
Right. So if you're going to position yourself like that, then you should have a palace for the women as well.
You should. And, certainly they could afford it.
Right. Right.
I don't know how in this day and age you overlook that. We got one rack of dumbbells for the girls. We got the Taj Mahal for the men. Okay. Yeah,
and then
that works out
they were
really
also
well.
showing the swag bag over the weekend for the tournament participants, which was very similar to what you saw there as far as the weight room goes. It's almost like, here's, T-shirts and stickers and fun stuff for the men. And it's like, for the women, it's like, as a candy bar. No, it was quite the disparity, though. It was very similar.
So while there may be, legitimate reasons for it, I don't know, and maybe it's the money disparity. I don't know. The attendance disparity, the interest disparity.
COVID got a victory in round 1 of the men's tournament, by the way.
Yeah, took out VCU.
Yeah.
And that's why you're wearing Virginia Commonwealth
that's the only reason I'm wearing
baseball
this today. Yeah, it's like a thrift store special. It's like $2.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I don't know, man. They blame some weird hotel. Did you hear that? They stayed at a hotel that was all crowded and stuff for their tournament, their conference tournament. And so
VCU?
They think they got it there.
Really? Oh, okay.
But they're not denying. I mean, it wasn't like some false positive or whatever. It was
How many have it?
3.
Oof.
It stinks, man.
Yeah, that does. And that's what they said, though. If you get COVID, we're not gonna wait for you. We can't do that.
Yeah.
So
Oregon gets to advance, and COVID
Yep.
makes it the next round. They'll face social justice in round 2.
Oh, wow.
Who do you think's going to win that one?
I think social justice wins that.
I think it's a legacy pick.
Aren't they a 1 seed, social justice?
Yeah. COVID's shot was last year.
The 1 seeds now are social justice, trans rights,
Okay. Critical race theory.
critical race theory, right, and
Big tech. That's all I got.
Okay.
First thing I can.
Also, we have a brand new bingo card for you. Pat Gray Bingo is in full swing
Don't
again.
forget, if you want to play, go to Pat Unleashed on Twitter. It's pinned to the top there. Print it up. Play along all week when you hear these sounds. Try to win.
Here's the first thing in the upper left-hand corner. If it saves just one life. Okay, then, of course, we have this.
You keep using the word.
Oh,
I
inconceivable.
don't think it means what you think it means.
Inconceivable,
Right.
yes.
That's where I always play that, is when I say inconceivable.
Yeah.
But inconceivable would be one. That's icky. That's icky. Speaking of which, Jeffy.
Oh, I was going to say, you'll probably knock that out.
Let's square up on me. Let's square up. Folksy ad lib. Then, as we start the second row, Keith, oh snap.
Oh, snap.
And Fuego. This from, what's his face? Mel Gibson.
You don't care.
It's an oldie but a goodie. And this time, he's pissed. Also, we got Joe Biden with...
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Again, these don't count when we're we're highlighting
And they
them
don't
right
count when we're reading tweets either.
now. Right.
Okay.
That's cheating. That CGI is in here. Also, it's a madhouse.
It's a madhouse! A madhouse!
New normal. This.
I called up Cardinal Tobin, Cardinal Joe Tobin in Newark.
So ask Cardinal Tobin.
We haven't heard that in a while.
I'm a pass.
I'm a pass.
Got the laugh track. It's always fun. Butt hooks. What this world needs is a hug.
Though I'll keep my social distance, what this world needs is a hug.
Noodle it out. Keith, get out my face.
Get out my face.
Another Cuomo accuser speaks out. That's almost a free square right now. Cuomo or Deshaun Watson, man, he's in trouble too.
I saw 9 listed somewhere.
Yeah, I saw 12, and there's 10 more. I think that talking to the lawyers.
Who do you think's going to win at the end as far as total?
Oof.
Cuomo or Watson?
I think Watson probably will. Ooh. Jeffy, yeah, no. Spoken song lyrics. AOC with this little
People
gem.
often say, like, how are you going to pay for it? And
how do you pay for
I
it?
find the question so puzzling because how do you pay for something that's more affordable? How do you pay for cheaper rent? How do you pay for you just pay for it? We're paying more
You
now.
just pay for it.
It's not
You just
that
do.
that we're saying this whole system is free.
All right. And then Jeffy Jr. oinks.
Oh. Guess I better have that.
That's a Jeffy Jr. You're calling a pig. Jeffy Jr.
That's Jeffy Jr.
Yeah. Huh.
Okay.
That doesn't seem very kind to Jeffy.
Jr. It does not.
No, it doesn't. All right. 888-900-3393. Also, since we were talking about the disparity in NCAA basketball, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem just sent a bill banning transgender women from female sports. She sent it back to the legislature. So she obviously vetoed the bill. Wow. I don't understand that.
That surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, I bet it did.
Mm-hmm.
After reviewing the measure for nearly 10 days, Noem took issue with style and form within the bill, saying she'll sign it if lawmakers agree to the changes. I support this legislation and hope that House Bill 1217, with the changes I'm proposing, becomes law. So is she saying it's too broad, something to that effect?
Yeah.
Yeah, the wording of the legislation alleging it left schools and team players vulnerable to lawsuits and created unworkable administrative burdens on schools by forcing them to require yearly forms proving sex, age, and lack of performance-enhancing drugs. That is putting a lot on the school system. But most notably, she rejected their calls for bans at the collegiate level, telling lawmakers it could mean South Dakota athletes lose out in national tournaments, as the NCAA has inclusion policies for transgender student athletes. That's right, the NCAA includes trans people in women's sports, right? I think they did make that. They made that adjustment a couple of years ago.
I'm just looking at her Twitter feed. She has 25 tweets explaining why she...
Oh, she wrote 25 tweets?
Yeah, why she's not supporting this bill, but she wants them to send it back to her.
Huh, all right.
So we'll see, but...
Interesting.
I hope that... What is she said, South Dakota's at risk, though, for tournaments and stuff?
Yeah, to get banned or boycotted or whatever.
I don't know if that's your strongest argument.
No, it's not.
That's more of a, we're going to kowtow here.
Right. We're going to cave in before it even becomes an issue. And how many tournaments are we clamoring to hold in South Dakota? Not that many, I'm kind of thinking.
Uh-huh.
Not exactly a hot spot for NCAA championship tourneys. Unless I've missed a few along the way. I don't know. Maybe a lot of them end up in Pierre, South Dakota. I don't know. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Fascinating issue over the weekend with Joe Biden trying to climb the stairs to Air Force One. This was so obvious and so disturbing.
Yes, that's the word.
It's really disturbing. I mean, what is wrong with you when you can watch what happened as he climbed the stairs of Air Force One? Yep, stumbles once, twice, and now he goes completely down.
Oh, God.
Wow.
I think he hurt himself there.
I think he did,
Chin or something.
That hurt. That's going to leave a mark. And then he turns around like nothing happened and does the salute. Okay.
Yeah. All right, we got it.
3 times. 3 times. That's
that third
not
one,
normal.
He was down.
You know what they're blaming? The wind.
The wind.
Really? The wind?
Uh-huh.
What about the sun? Was it in his eyes? I bet it was.
Yeah, I bet there was a little glare there.
Wind? What, have you ever been blown down by the wind? Are you talking hurricane force winds there?
No, it was 6 to 14 mile an hour was the maximum when that occurred. 14.
Really?
Yes, sir.
So at most, 14.
Gust.
That's even worse. If a 14 mile an hour wind can blow down the president of the United States, he shouldn't be the president of the United States.
That's what a spokesperson said it was. The wind.
The wind.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you.
He's not doing well, physically or mentally.
The man should not be president of the United States.
We have at least an example a week, and usually multiple examples. Sometimes it's an example every day.
Yeah.
It is time. And then if you talk about it, it's a conspiracy theory. Really? Have you been watching this guy? It's really egregious now. It is so obvious there's something wrong. And how about when he was asked during the campaign, after Trump said something about how he's lost a step or two. And watch when a reporter asks him how he responds to that, he's pretty indignant about it.
Step or two. What's your response to that?
Look at how he steps and look how I step.
Yeah.
Watch how I run up ramps and he stumbles down ramps. Okay? Come on.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, we are watching how you're running up ramps and stairs, and it's not good.
No. And the internet had fun with it on Friday and Saturday and Sunday and right into today.
Yeah. Joe Biden versus Donkey Kong, for instance.
That's a good one, yeah. Oh, he doesn't know what he's getting into. Look out. It's right there. Do you not see? Look out. Look at the top. Look at the top, though. Wait for the top. He's waiting for him.
Oh, man. That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Joe Biden on a stair chair?
Oh, yeah. He needs one of these now. This one. Good idea. Practical. There's no risk of falling, right?
That is really well done.
Does he have a life alert? He should carry one of those, I think.
I've fallen and I can't get up. He also apparently got hit by an errant shot.
Oh, no.
From Donald Trump playing golf.
Oh, no. Oh, that's what it was. Oh, okay, that explains a lot.
Oh, yeah. Third one put him down.
I mean, Trump. That was pretty obvious.
Yeah, he shouldn't have done that.
He kept hitting those.
Should not have done that.
Yeah, well, some people didn't like those, Pat.
Yeah, MSNBC host had a problem with it, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And
Trump Jr. did was cut a video together, someone else did for him, of Donald Trump hitting a golf ball, and then it cuts to Joe Biden and the ball hitting Biden in the head and knocking him down on the stairs. And, it's supposed to be a joke, but considering Donald Trump is a man who incited a terrorist attack on our Capitol, and violence is part of the right wing now, they are a fascist movement, in my view. Is that a joke, or is that dangerous when Donald Trump Jr. does that?
Well, it's dangerous because what he does is he makes light of the potential of injuring people. Look, one of the things that I do is I monitor right-wing extremists' internal communications. I watch their chats. I watch their Telegram channels.
Do you?
And their parlor tweets. And
maybe you should
go
get a
on
life.
the forums that they're very prevalent on. And some of the forums that they're prevalent on are gun forums.
Oh,
and
no.
Let me tell you, you're see some seething hotbeds of violent, potential violence. Some of these
violent
people have
potential
long-range
violence.
shooting skills. And this is the sort of thing that they would, they would see that video and it would turn into a discussion of whether they use 338 Lapua or whether they use 50 caliber BMP to get that shot.
I wonder
if
not right.
Joking.
I can't take any more.
Murder.
Stop.
It's joking about murder, though.
The thing is,
You're good with that?
It's not directly
Stop.
stating, I want to do X, Y,
okay, I got it.
Joe Biden.
Jeez.
Talk about conflating. Good grief.
I mean, the left actually had decapitated heads they were holding of Donald Trump with the blood dripping down from where you cut his head off. Mm-hmm. They had plays about him being assassinated. Nobody cared about that. They actually did scenes of assassination with him. They talked about blowing up the White House. Madonna talked about blowing up the White House when he was in
montage. It was like 3 minutes of celebrities and talking heads joking about killing Trump. Like you said, they had that guillotine where he's laying on it and they've got the bloody thing about. Shut up, you.
Crazy. Just absolutely crazy. All right, let me tell you about Texas Superfood. A lot of people experience a couple of things. That they have more energy after using Texas Superfood, and they get better sleep. And, of course, those two things are connected. Texas Superfood gives you the power of nutritionally dense fruits and vegetables, enzymes, probiotics, all of that great stuff. Texas Superfood is organic, too. It's vine-ripened, antioxidant-rich, raw natural fruits and vegetables that make maintaining proper nutrition incredibly easy. Because it's certainly, for me at least, it is not easy to eat vegetables. They are nasty. And so this is the only way I get them into my body. Really important. to get these the nutritional value out of this. And there's no better place to get it than with Texas Superfood. All the fruits and vegetables used are grown organically from locally sourced farms. It's the highest quality nutritional supplement that you can get on the market. Just go to TexasSuperfood.com. Check them out today. TexasSuperfood.com.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
I like how some of the outlets that even if they mentioned it, they mentioned that, oh, you know what? He had that foot situation back in December. It's probably his foot. It's probably the broken foot. That's giving him some trouble. Yeah, I mean, I know he slipped a couple of times, but it's probably the foot. I bet it's his foot. No, it's his whole being that's disintegrating right now. Physical, mental disintegration of the President of the United States. I don't take joy in saying that. We tried to warn about this before he was elected, and they wouldn't listen. And now they're seeing the signs all the time, and they just ignore them. They call it a conspiracy theory. Wow. Yet they could discuss the mental health of Donald Trump all day long, every day, and that was perfectly fine. They even CNN brought in experts. Well, what do you think of the president's declining mental state? Well, I haven't examined it, but you're right. It looks like he's really coming apart at the seams. Okay. And so all of that was fine. But now if you mention, serious, disturbing things that we are witnessing with our own eyes, you're a crazed right-wing lunatic. Wow.
It's bad.
It's really bad.
The last place the man needs to be is in the Oval Office of the White House.
Yeah. Apparently, the administration is canceling some student debt, too. The Department of Education took some new steps to provide certain federal student loan borrowers complete debt relief.
Wow.
That seems fair to people who diligently paid their bills over the years and paid off their student debt, even though it was probably a burden.
Yeah.
Even though they probably didn't want to.
Uh-huh.
They understood it was their obligation, and they paid it off.
And now
they see, oh, good, I'm paying off your student loan, too.
I can't.
Isn't that great? So the announcement comes as Democrats explore how to cancel all student debt. Yeah, just more than 40 million Americans have federal student loan debt, totaling more than $1.7 trillion. Debt payments are currently suspended due to financial hardship caused by the coronavirus. Well, that's nice. So they're giving some relief right now, which I can understand. But to pay off their debt, okay, you don't owe it anymore. Somebody else is going to pay it off for you. The rest of America will pay it off for you. Even though the rest of America paid their own way. Don't worry about it. They'll be happy to do this. So apparently they're preparing to take even bigger steps in the future. And the Education Department said student loan borrowers can apply for full debt cancellation if their college engaged in fraud or other financial misconduct. What? That's probably just about every university on the planet. Government estimates about $1 billion in student loans received cancellation as a result, which will benefit 72,000 borrowers. Nice. So if that's you, congratulations. Don't have to worry about it anymore. But the rest of us do. And we're talking about that big tax hike to pay for it, in part. There's going to be a massive tax increase unless the Senate can somehow stop this with the filibuster. But they're trying to do away with the filibuster, too.
Oh, yes.
They're trying desperately. They're setting that stage right now. Even though I just saw Fox News playing a bunch of Democrats talking about the filibuster going away in 2017. In 2016 and 17, they sure felt the opposite way. Oh, the filibuster was sacred, and you must not touch it. And that's what separates the Senate from the House. We can't have that. How dare you even think of it? And now here they are. Yeah, we're going to get rid of it. It's the same people who said the opposite back then.
Amazing.
It's just incredible. By the way, a majority of Americans, of U.S. voters, don't support raising taxes for any reason. And it should be a lot bigger percentage than this, but it's 52% of Americans are not in favor of a tax hike. Thank you. At least we got a majority in some common sense issue. Respondents were given a variety of policy proposals for which they might support a tax increase. Less than 20% said they'd like a tax hike to fight climate change. Less than 20%. That's how much people love climate change. So
it's still too high.
It is. 16% would support a tax hike to reduce the U.S. national debt. And as I mentioned, 52% said not under any circumstances do I want to see a tax hike.
And is that, maybe you don't have the exact wording there, but were they asked about themselves then? Because once you tell them, oh, it's just the rich getting it's the corporations, that's the ones getting the tax, then I bet that number goes down as far as those that don't want.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you spin this, I mean, if it's one of those push polls that you're trying to extract an answer from, it'd be easy. Because yes, that's how they spin it. This is just tax hikes on the rich. You don't have to worry about it. What we've already found out is he said nobody under $400,000 a year. No one who makes under $400,000 would get a penny of increased taxation. All during the campaign, he said that. What does it turn out now? No, I'm sorry. That's for families. Individuals making $200,000 or more will get the tax hike. And you know it'll turn out to be many more than that.
Well, let's just say that you don't get affected by this tax increase, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to feel the pinch, right? I mean, because Jen Psaki, she calmed those fears. That was,
did she?
Yeah.
Good.
So
let's see.
What can you do to reassure middle-class Americans that this is not going to waterfall down on them, that they're not going to end up paying the price?
Well, we can absolutely assure them that he is talking about what he talked about on the campaign trail, which is that people making over $400,000 a year, a very small percentage of the American population, he believes they should pay their fair share. And that also includes corporations. And he believes that's a way that we can help fund some of the really important programs that will help create more jobs, help invest in innovation.
Of course, you can only do so much if corporations end up raising prices on things if they end up having a tax hike as well, right?
He also believes that the American people are smart. They're invested in this. They're going to pay attention, and that they know that corporations do not need to raise the cost of goods in order to pay more taxes and pay more of their fair share.
What?
And kudos to MSNBC, a reporter for them.
Yeah, for asking
those questions.
Which, I mean, so they know that corporations aren't going to raise their prices on their goods.
They know. They're just going to absorb
compensate.
The cost.
Because they're out of the goodness of their heart. Mm-hmm. They're going to absorb the extra 15% or 20% or 50% they're paying.
So what that means is you're not going to have to pay extra costs when you go to buy their products.
Sure.
So instead what that means, I guess, is that we'll just lop off some jobs from our payroll to make up for these additional costs.
No, they don't have to do that. They're just going to take the loss.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Oh, and a small percentage, a fifth of Americans, by the way, will be affected by this.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly a fifth of Americans.
Jeez, the lies. She just, with a smile, just sits there and lies through her communist teeth. Unbelievable. Wow. 888-900-3393. Also, at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Much more apocalyptic fun is just around the corner. Got some tweets here from the creator of our Pat Gray Bingo boards. Just to muck and fudge.
Yeah.
Tweets, that legislation regarding women's sports is too broad.
Get it? See what you did there? Too broad.
Too broad. From Rat's Anus, I have a prediction. By the end of the week, the female basketball player will be canceled for using the words men and women, and also for not standing up for trans basketball players who get no weights. Huh.
Oh.
That's true.
Yep.
Some burning issues there brought to the surface. The Steve 42. If you get blown over by wind, you're too old and frail to lead the free world. Indeed. Crystal laughing through the apocalypse tweets, everyone trips on stairs and no one gets blown over. They need to find a better public relations person.
Yeah.
The wind.
The wind.
From Cheeseburger, Joe Biden shouldn't be president of the Arts and Crafts Committee at the old folks' home. Well, he isn't. He's just president of the United States.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So, no, he shouldn't be. But he isn't, so we don't have to worry about that.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah,
that's good. He's not, man.
He's not. And if he were, instead of what he is now, I wouldn't mind it. I'd be okay. Yeah, go ahead and be president of the Arts and Crafts Committee at the old folks' home. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because until I move into that particular home, he's got no control over my life. The sad thing is right now he has a lot. And between the tax hikes that they're jamming down our throats, or at least trying to, the border situation that is completely out of control.
Yes, it is.
Now they've got the border agents just letting people go without any sort of court date. Well, what do you think is going to happen? Are they going to show back up? Yeah, they're just letting them go free and don't set a court date for them to reappear. Huh. Okay. Well, that's going to work out really well. I mean, that does save us paperwork, right?
Save some trees. I see. I bet this is... Remember my theory was Homeland Security is going to start letting out some embarrassing information. Here we go.
I don't know what they're going to do, because this is clearly a crisis, and even some of the mainstream media are starting to jump off board with this because they can see that it's a crisis. They won't call it a crisis, and they won't let any of the journalists near it.
Yeah.
So they can noodle it out for themselves.
Yeah, even CNN is now taking the reins and trying to get some answers.
Yeah.
They had Linda Sanchez on this weekend. I don't know if you want that clip.
I guess my last question for you then is on transparency. You just heard our Priscilla Alvarez reporting from the border. All of our reporters down there have been asking nonstop to get into these facilities where Alejandro Mayorkas just said are not meant for children, the CBP facilities. Are you concerned at the lack of transparency from the administration not allowing any journalists inside?
I will tell you that under the Trump administration, members of Congress were not allowed inside these facilities. So if the press is not allowed inside, it doesn't.
Pause it for a second.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Okay. So members of Congress weren't allowed inside. He did allow journalists to go in there. There were pictures from there. There were photographic evidence of what was going on in there. So what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
She's asking you about the media right now.
I specifically remember Mike Pence walking around a facility with the press in tow.
Yes.
Taking pictures.
That's right. Because they were screaming and yelling about what a humanitarian crisis it was. All right, continue.
Allowed inside these facilities. So if the press is not allowed inside, it doesn't.
That just doesn't mean anything now. Respectfully, Congresswoman. I mean, clearly you were upset about that lack of transparency. Are you concerned about this lack of transparency?
Sure. Well, again, when you have numbers in the numbers that we see, and we have facilities that are appropriate for children, but because of COVID protocols, you can't fill them to capacity. You have to have social distancing. They're trying to process children as quickly as they can. And no, these detention facilities at the border were not meant for children. Children are meant to be in licensed facilities, but because of the numbers and because of the social distancing that's required, they are doing the best that they can. And I don't necessarily think that it's appropriate for journalists to be inside centers that are not permanent places for children. The children are not placed there permanently. They're processed out of those facilities as quickly as possible and as quickly as the facilities will allow.
But some of them are being held there longer than they're legally supposed to be.
They are doing the best that they can under COVID protocols. If it were not a pandemic, I would totally understand the concern. But we are dealing in a unique set of circumstances that are unprecedented.
No, that's not true. We had it last year.
You can't fault an administration that is doing everything humanly possible to treat these kids in a humane way, given the limitations that they have because of COVID.
Yeah, that wasn't the case with Trump, though, right? Because we had a worse COVID situation last year than we do now. We didn't know what we were in for last year, and we were trying to deal with that at the same time as the crunch at the border. Good.
The press is not on board. I told you, you limit their access.
And they're going to get pissed.
And that entire interview, that CNN chick is just obviously beside herself and just like looking, her eyes are darting like, what is this lady talking about?
Yeah. Well, welcome to our world, Ms. CNN. This is what we have to go through with these people all the time.
And the MSNBC chick on the taxes, this is encouraging. I mean, don't get too... Got it. I mean, don't get too... Our bar is not that high for journalists in 2021 America. What was it? They're also going to put illegal aliens into hotels down there?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, we get to pay for that as well. So that'll be good. That'll be really good.
Meanwhile, we have what... I saw like 700,000 homeless vets in America that could use a nice place to stay.
Jeez. That's a whole nother situation right there. Yeah. So it's not appropriate for the press to see inside these border facilities. Not appropriate because there's children in there. Well, wait. Isn't that the time we should be most concerned about it and get the media in there so we can see what the conditions are?
Yeah.
I like the 12-year-old boy children. I have plenty of room at my place in Neverland. You did bring the 12-year-old boy children to Neverland. They could stay there.
You know, I'm going to put them in the cage for their own safety.
But I like the children.
Yeah, you love them a little too much there, Mikey.
Feed them Jesus juice and watch TV.
No, lock them up, y'all.
Pornographic TV.
Oh, yeah, we're going to lock them down right here at the border.
But I love the 12-year-old boy children.
And that's the problem. You know, Ricky, who works here, she called Dallas County and talked to them, and they said that 3,000 youth are being sent to Dallas County. And
good.
The Texas governor's office wasn't asked for, or wasn't asked, nor were they consulted ahead of time. City of Dallas didn't debate it. It's 3,000 males, they think, between the ages of 15 and 17.
We think.
I mean, how do you know? You think these guys are walking up with their birth certificates?
What do you want to do? Cut them in half and count their rings?
You can't do it.
You can't do that.
So,
not to non-citizens. If they were citizens, sure, you could do that. Go ahead and cut them in half. But
how old are you? I'm 17. I mean, you've got gray hair, you know, nasty beard going on. Wait a minute, I'm describing me. Anyhow, so we don't know who's here. We literally have no idea. We don't know their ages. We don't know their identities.
But they're doing the best they can, so get off their back.
Right, get off their backs.
They're doing... Now, Trump, they were doing the worst they could. They desperately sought to do as bad a job as they could possibly do. I mean, that's what they act like. And that's how the press treated them. They wouldn't have accepted an answer like that. Look, we're doing the best we can, okay, under the circumstances. It's hard. You know what? It's hard. Well, yeah, but that's your job to take care of that hard situation. You knew it was going to be hard in the first place. So now it's hard. Fix it.
Yeah, Joe Biden is just bad at presidenting.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Everybody on his staff is too.
But let me give you some hope. Brooker's Founding Flavors ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
Bring that into your life and things will be immediately better. So good. This isn't like the artificially flavored and pumped full of air garbage that you get at the grocery store. This stuff is made with the highest quality of creaminess, highest quality ingredients, real vanillas from around the world, really good chocolate, the best you can get. And it's hand-packed, so it's really dense. It's not just puffed full of air. Brooker's captures the spirit and passion of revolutionary America and the Founding Fathers. And now they're taking what's in their storefront and they're bringing that right to you. The delicious ice cream can be had anywhere in the country. If you've seen the ice cream parlors in Utah, then you've experienced their colonial tavern from 1776 with period clothing and really cool period decor. Check out their website now, though, and they can send it directly to your home. They've got a ton of amazing flavors, and they'll deliver right to your house. BrookersIceCream.com. Go there and click the Ship Nationwide tab. BrookersIceCream.com and click on the Ship Nationwide tab.
Pat Gray, Unleashed.
This is interesting. A Mexican illegal immigrant is wanted for the rape of children. Was just killed by police. We lost him. We lost him. Previously deported illegal immigrant who was a wanted man for felony charges of rape involving 2 young women was reportedly shot and killed by police here in Texas this week. Juan Jimenez Salas, 46, accused of repeatedly molesting the 2 young daughters of his Arkansas girlfriend. The father of girls, both under the age of 10, informed authorities in November that he suspected that Jimenez Salas was sexually abusing the girls, who are 6 years old and 8 years old. The young sisters allegedly told their father that while traveling with their mom, they were raped at a hotel in McKinney, Texas. U.S. Marshals got involved with the investigation on this guy who was wanted on 11 felony charges, including 5 counts of rape and 6 counts of indecency with a child. Now, this is just one of the people that President Trump was talking about when he came down the escalator.
Yep.
And mentioned that there were rapists coming from Mexico. Yes, there are. They're not all rapists. In fact, I'm sure it's a very small number. But one is too many getting into our country.
Yeah, we got enough rapists in America as it is.
Yeah, we do.
We don't need to import them.
Approximately 20 years ago, he was arrested on felony charges, similar to that on what we have him in the case now, and he was deported back to Mexico. On Friday, law enforcement used GPS on his phone to track him down. We lucked out and had a phone number that we were able to track, and in that lead gave us the information tying us to Arlington, Texas. He was allegedly pointing a handgun at an Arlington police officer who reacted by shooting and killing him.
All right.
Okay.
That's how it goes.
So there you go. And that's it's just part of the border problem. Mm-hmm. A part that the Democrats never even acknowledge. They don't talk about the American citizens who are killed or victimized by these illegal immigrants.
Families' lives changed forever.
Yeah. You think about the poor woman whose name I can't remember right now, shot at the pier in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. Remember that? And that...
Kate Stanley.
Yeah. Turned out that was just an accident, right? Whoops. Oopsie daisies. I just happened to find this rifle and it went off. I mean, that kind of stuff.
And that guy didn't even end up, for all intents and purposes, didn't even get time served, really.
Right.
Remember that? They had all these technicalities and stuff. But I mean, we have plenty of rapists. We have plenty of murderers. We have plenty of drunk drivers. Mm-hmm. We have that covered here in America as it is.
We don't need more who aren't supposed to be here in the first place. That's the whole point. Kevin McCarthy tweeted out this interesting photo. Was taken 6 days ago on private property at the border. This is what a border crisis looks like. Look at that. That's somebody's private property. And here is this long line. I don't know. What do you think is in there? 50, 100 people.
I mean, that's just in the shot.
Yeah.
Because they go over the ridge there, and you can't see how long this trail is. But, yeah.
Wow.
That's somebody's yard, effectively.
And some coyote is getting rich, charging all these people $3,000 to $7,000 to lead them into the United States. They know the ropes. They know where to take them. They know where the wall ends, where it begins. They know all the routes. They know the Border Patrol and their routines. And so they just lead trails of people like that right across the border.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget, the press isn't just upset about the access to the kids down there and, the different facilities. Mm-hmm. They want to go along with ride-alongs, too, which the Trump administration was very accommodating with those. So there's no access down there. If not for drone video footage from a landowner at the border right there with that picture, we wouldn't even get to see that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's like you're smuggling information out of there.
I mean, it's so bad that even Mexico is saying, look, the fact that you did away with all of Trump's policies
I know.
is making it worse.
They admit that Trump's policy where he strong-armed them worked.
Yes. The Biden administration's appeal to do more against migration has put Mexico in a difficult situation. While Mr. Trump strong-armed Mexico into militarizing the border, some Mexican officials argue that his harsh policies may have at times helped lessen their load.
I love it.
By deterring migrants from attempting to make the journey north. You think? Wow. What a concept.
You know what happened there? They got to the northern border of Mexico and created a crisis for Mexico. Mm-hmm. And so what did Mexico do? They focused on their southern border, and then the crisis didn't keep coming to them.
Right. Yeah, and now doing away with all that stuff, it's making it tougher even on them. And they're admitting it. It's got to be pretty bad for Mexico to say, yeah, Trump's policies were actually helping.
Pat Gray.
Great to have you here with us. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. As a matter of fact, we have some tweets right here. From Occam's Electric Razor.
I like it.
Occam's Electric Razor tweets, if Biden is going to be the president of the Arts and Crafts Club at a retirement village, it would definitely be the Villages.
Oh, sure.
He likes them so much he even sang about them. Yeah, he did.
The Villages, America's friendliest hometown. The Villages, America's friendliest hometown. The Villages.
That's Joe Biden, and he's drunk.
And one of his finest vocal performances of all time. Reverend Chipotle tweets, how is it not an impeachable offense for any government official who doesn't want to have a secure border?
Wait, who tweeted that?
How is it not an impeachable offense for any government official who doesn't want to have a secure border? No, okay. From Reverend Chipotle.
I see. Reverend Chipotle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's living in reality world. And
please. We don't live in that world.
No.
So, there you go.
There it is.
From Saki Sucks. Wait till Kamala is president. The media will fawn all over her like they did Obama. They sure would and will when that happens. Is there any doubt in your mind that they're going to absolutely love Kamala Harris?
Long about next Tuesday?
Yeah, ish. I'm hanging on to 6 months to a year, I believe, is the amount of time that Joe Biden will be the president of the United States.
Wow, by July 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Or starting July 20th, that window starts until January 20th. Boy, it's definitely getting that feel.
I mean, he can't even climb the stairs. Show that again. That is, I mean, watch this.
1.
Oh.
2.
No. No, boy. Oh,
down for the count. That's a TKO right there. Stairs 1.
Right. The count would have been about 8 by the time he finally got up.
So honest question, though. How...
The wind.
The wind.
The wind knocked him down.
The 6 mile an hour breeze.
Yeah. Yeah. But it gusted to 14 miles an hour. Don't forget, Keith.
That's true. I don't want to.
Don't try to soft pedal the wind.
I appreciate you.
That gale force wind.
Calling me on that one. So let's just, if you're Joe Biden, the next time you see that daunting stairwell in front of you, do you walk up slowly?
Oh, yeah.
Or do you show, no, I got this, and you just start sprinting up there? You know what I'm saying?
Well, watch how he walked up after it happens.
Oh, well, see.
Here we go.
And then you got a big, giant
he just
monkey
can't avoid those
barrels and stuff. Oh,
Donkey Kong barrels are tough to deal with. Then he kind of grabs both rails. He's like, okay, I'm going to be really careful now because this is embarrassing. I've already bragged about how I run upstairs and Trump can't. And then he does that. But nobody in the mainstream media thinks that's nothing unusual. Lots of presidents have fallen. Obama tripped, not like that. I mean, he trips and goes down. You could understand that once. Okay, he lost his balance there once. Then he takes one more step and trips again. Then he falls all the way down to his knees.
I mean, seriously.
Come on. Something's wrong there.
Yeah, he was down. Like in the NFL, when that elbow hits, the play's over.
He was down.
So someone should have just carried him the rest of the way. I think we're going to see a lot more of Marine One for a while.
Perhaps.
Little helicopter trips now.
It's interesting to note, because his knee was down, if he would have dropped the nuclear football, I think the play would have been over, and you'd have to give it back to him. He'd retain possession of the nuclear football.
Right. And so, okay.
Yeah.
So down.
He was down.
Yeah.
So.
Now, if someone from the opposing team picks up the football, though, do they take over on downs heading down the stairs at that point?
Yeah. But instant replay would have shown his knees were down.
Clearly.
Both knees were down.
Both, I mean, and an elbow.
Yeah, give him back the football.
And like John Madden taught us, you know.
Yes.
One knee equals 2 feet, and so does a butt as well.
He also taught us, boom! If I'm not mistaken.
He sure did.
Yeah. All right, let me tell you about Built Bar. If there is anything that can help you get through the day when you're starving, you're just really hungry, and those hunger pangs are making you not be able to concentrate at work, Built Bar is the answer. This is something you can eat. It'll fill you up for a while, and you won't have to feel guilty.
I'm telling you.
Even though they taste like a candy bar, you know you've just eaten something that's darn good for you. It's got all the stuff you need in a protein bar, low in calories and carbs, and it's high in protein and fiber. I mean, really high in protein and fiber. But it tastes great. Doesn't taste like chalk, or even worse, that chemical taste you get from some of these protein bars afterward, because they use artificial sweeteners and things like, I don't know. It's I think they use the same thing that they use in Roundup.
You think?
We
haven't.
I think it's very close.
Confirmed it.
I haven't confirmed it, but it seems like it's about the same substance.
Sure does.
So it kills weeds, and it doubles as a sweetener for candy bars.
I mean, you can take that risk if you want. I wouldn't recommend it.
Instead, go with the Built Bar, because they're delicious. They've got great flavors too: caramel brownie, cookies and cream, raspberry, peanut butter, mint brownie. The list is almost endless. So if you want something to snack on during the course of the day, go to Built Bar. BuiltBar.com. Use the promo code PAT15 to get 15% off your next order.
Just tried it. PAT20 still works.
Okay.
You want 20% off? You better do this before it gets changed.
Use PAT20 because PAT15 doesn't work. So PAT20 does work.
Yes,
right?
You got to get to BuiltBar.com quickly.
BuiltBar.com. Promo code PAT20.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Yeah. Oh, man. So we were talking about this. We were kind of exploring I think this was a work, sort of a work test that people had to take at Pathead Ali Paka's.
Oh, this was her. No,
or somebody sent it to her.
No, this was her college course that she got a 0 on because she refused to take part in this.
Okay, yeah. The professor told me I was walking on thin ice, gave me 0s. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was supposed to fill out this thing of understanding and exploring advantage and privilege. And so these are all a series of yes or no questions. And so they're just aggravating. Yep. They just are racist against white people. I don't know how they're getting away with this. I guess because they consider whites to have oppressed everybody else for a long time. So now turnabout is fair play. And that's what they're doing. They've just turned it around on Whitey.
The problem is they're doing it to people that weren't the oppressors.
Right. Yes, they are.
Ali Paca didn't go around oppressing blacks throughout her life.
No, nor did I.
Nor did I.
You. So now I think Corby did. Corby running the board.
Well, we weren't. I was specifically avoiding mentioning Corby.
I thought let's just get our chips out on the table. Let's just push it all in. Corby did.
Yeah.
Corby oppressed me.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine if you have to deal with that, Corby, but
right.
That's true.
My kid should not have to go through this.
So it's a list of statements like, I can go shopping and not worry that I will not be followed or harassed or assumed to be stealing. I can turn on the television or go to the movies and see people of my race in a wide variety of roles. Come on now. There's no problem with that today. I don't think. Every time I turn on the TV, it is filled with minorities, special interest groups. Most magazines have pictures of people like me. Big fat people? No. No, they don't.
It depends on the magazine. Like, I'm not going to open up a BET magazine or Ebony magazine and expect to see white people.
That's a good point. Nor could you have a whitey magazine. Like, they've got Ebony, and they have the BET television
You can't
network.
even have a
you can't do that.
Whitey mag.
No, you cannot.
Whitey mag. There's a marketing opportunity there, y'all.
I can arrange to protect my children most of the time from people who might not like them. I don't fear that my home or place of worship will be graffitied, defaced in some way, or burned down. Yeah, well, maybe you should, I don't know, talk to Antifa about that. I can hear songs on the radio during holidays that represent my religion or faith.
Mean?
What? Minorities don't have what? Don't they share our religion? Christianity is not a race.
Right. That's so weird.
I can find a church or place of worship that shares my faith. So blacks can't find a place of worship that shares their faith? What are you talking about? What?
So pathetic.
I can find a dentist of my race to treat me.
Why does that matter?
And are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? No. Aren't there any black dentists or Asian dentists or Hispanic dentists? Is dentistry a whites-only industry? I don't know that to be the case. Maybe it is. I can find a doctor of similar sexual orientation to mine to treat me. Yeah, I'm looking for a heterosexual doctor, please. Can you tell me if Dr. Smith is hetero or is he homo?
That's the first thing you do when you
first thing
to a new town.
First thing I do.
Got to find a family doctor, and that first phone call you place. Okay, before you ask me about my insurance company and if I'm a new patient, is the doctor heterosexual? Because I'm straight and I need to make sure that we're on the same level here.
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, we got to be on the same page, sexual orientation wise.
What world do these people live in?
That is absolute insanity. Who would even think of that? I can find a doctor of a similar sexual orientation. How would I know? How would you know?
And what would you do about it? Honestly, if you had suspicions that he was gay, your doctor, are A, you're going to ask him, B, are you going to ask around to find out, C, are you just going to pick up your ball and go home? No, who cares? Oh my gosh. Don't get this.
They want us to care now.
They want us to care.
You're supposed to care. You're supposed to know. You're supposed to pay attention to all of this stuff.
And it's the doctor's fault. This is what they'll say. They'll say, well, the doctor should be so out that it shouldn't even be a question as to what his sexual orientation is. Shame on him for not having rainbow flags all over his office and pink triangles and I'm an ally or whatever it is. I mean, shut up. Get out my face.
My country celebrates holidays that recognize heroes of my race, sexual orientation, and religion. I don't. Again, do you pay attention to that? Whether your heroes are your same race or sexual orientation or religion?
Obsessed.
I can see and find people in my race in the career I have or hope to have in my future. I can find bandages,
yeah,
in a flesh color that more or less matches my skin.
Now, I'll say, I've always thought that's a great opportunity to make money. And maybe they have them now, but I have thought that for a very long time. Long time. Yeah, absolutely. I thought there should be different shades of bandage, Band-Aids or whatever. And again, maybe they are, but I've just always thought that's a great marketing idea right there.
I just had because of my surgery on my head and nose, I just had bandages, and they don't even fit my skin color, let alone anybody else's. So I've never really thought about that, but that probably is a hard one, because I don't think I've ever seen black bandages, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen those?
No, that's why I say I wonder if they do exist. I just haven't seen them. But I want, didn't they used to have neon colors?
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah. For kids, I think, mostly. But
what do you mean for kids?
But if you'd like a big neon giraffe Band-Aid, we'll probably find one for you.
A giraffe one, too?
Yeah.
I was just going to go with neon.
Okay.
But you can get me into a neon giraffe Band-Aid?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I can.
I am sold, man.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Let me tell you about Omega XL. Omega XL really helps. If you're in pain and it's brought on by inflammation, there is just nothing better than Omega XL. Yeah, maybe you've tried NSAIDs, the non-steroidal, over-the-counter anti-inflammatories, or the topical rubs. There has never been a topical rub that deadened my pain ever on anything. But Omega XL got rid of the intense pain I had in my elbow that was coming from inflammation. And after 2 weeks, the pain was just completely gone. Hasn't been back since. It's awesome. This could change your life. Maybe you've tried other things and they just don't work for you and you're skeptical. Just give it a shot. To get you started, when you order one bottle of Omega XL right now, you'll get a second bottle free. OmegaXL.com/Pat. Go there now. That's OmegaXL.com/Pat or call 800-844-4888. That's some tweets here from Joe McCullough. Is it my imagination, or is Kamala always nearby when Joe makes an appearance? Yeah, pretty much. The Secret Service is probably carrying a Bible just in case she has to take the oath of office at a moment's notice.
Wait a minute. You know what's going to happen? They're going to get a wider stairwell, so he'll have to always go up with somebody else.
Perhaps. He'll look pretty feeble, though, if they do that. You got somebody always kind of holding him. Making sure he doesn't. And don't. Oh, wow. Yeah, that hurt. That last one hurt.
He checked his shin and everything.
Yeah, that hurt. He was crying like a baby when he went inside the plane.
Yeah. Oh.
Crying like a baby.
All the flight, all the way to Atlanta. He had
tears just streaming down his face. Carl Smith tweets, "Come on, man. Joe was just taking a knee to show his hatred of racism."
Way to spin it. That's
good explanation.
That's better than the wind knocked him over.
Dame Thug Life tweets, "There are clear bandages, but I guess they're only for clear people."
See?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. Right. So I guess we can't have any because I'm not clear. So 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. We were talking about the racist things that whites can do that nobody else can do.
I knew that's how that sentence was going to end. Yeah. Where we're talking about the racist, and I knew white was going to be before the end of that sentence.
Right.
Because I don't know that there's any other way to be racist other than if you are white.
I prematurely threw this away.
What is it you're looking for?
Well, the things that we can do that others can't.
Like, oh, yeah.
Find a doctor of a similar sexual orientation.
Because that's high on my... When I'm looking for a new doctor, like the top of that checklist.
Hetero. Gotta be white and then certainly hetero.
And a dude.
Uh-huh.
I mean, seriously, let's check all the boxes.
I can remain oblivious or ignorant of the language and customs of persons of color who make up most of the world without any penalty for being so oblivious.
What a weird, bitter person who put this together.
No kidding. Self-loathing idiot. I can criticize our government without being seen as non-patriotic or treated as a terrorist. So great. When I read about American history, I can see people of my race and color positively represented. Yeah, I can.
If like you made this point last week, if people like Woodrow Wilson and other liberals in history, progressives in history, hadn't erased blacks from our history,
we'd all know about them.
I mean, it took a conservative, a David Barton, to write a book of black heroes from the Revolutionary War period and the founding of America. But is that being taught?
No, it isn't. Instead, David Barton is a terrorist on the list of the Southern Poverty Law Center. So ridiculous.
What a world.
But speaking of all this, now Cigna employees have been asked not to use the phrase brown bag lunch. There's a whole bunch of critical race theory lessons that they're learning now at Cigna. So employees at Cigna are routinely subjected to far-left critical race theory lessons and asked not to consider white men in hiring decisions. Wow. Those who work at Cigna told the Washington Examiner that they're expected to undergo sensitivity training they consider racist and discriminatory. Lessons include reviews of concepts such as white privilege, gender privilege, and something called religious privilege, which is described as a set of advantages that benefits believers of a certain religion, but not people who practice other religions or no religion at all. Employees say they're pressured to comply with inclusive language, outlines that suggest replacing terms like brown bag lunch and learn or grab and go. Now, do they realize that brown bag lunch had nothing to do with the color of the skin of anybody? No, it had to do with the color of the bag itself.
Wow, sounds like white privilege raging over there to my right.
Other suggestions include avoiding the phrase no can do.
What?
And replace it with unavailable. What is wrong with no can do? Employees are told to avoid gendered descriptions of romantic partners or family members and not to use hip hip hooray at birthday parties so others feel included. What? What does hip hip hooray do to anybody?
I don't know. I'm still trying to catch up on no can do.
Microaggressions listed include questions such as, do you even know what Facebook is? And are you a nurse? Employees are also asked to go through a societal norms checklist and tick off boxes if they're white, Christian, or heterosexual. Our inclusive culture at Cigna means that we're working hard to ensure everyone feels respected, welcome, and like they belong. That's what Susan Stith, the foundation's vice president for diversity, equity, inclusion, and corporate responsibility, wrote in a memo. This extends to the words we use, including understanding when certain terms might be perceived as negative or hurtful, and being intentional about choosing positive alternatives. I mean, if you're wasting this kind of time on this kind of absolute garbage, then you have way too much free time at Cigna. You might want to, I don't know, check into people's benefits and see that they're getting them rather than harass your employees with this kind of crap all the time.
Who hurt you?
They have 73,000 employees worldwide. It's a Fortune 500 company. And they're doing this?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you find out anything about no can do? Why is that offensive?
No can do. Yes.
Okay.
Apparently, in the 19th century, when Americans set it to mock Chinese immigrants.
Oh, man. Really?
And do you
Nobody
even
knows that?
Who even knows that and thinks that when they're using that phrase today?
Unbelievable. Got some tweets here. Jeremy tweets, apparently the people that made the white privilege survey haven't watched TV lately because commercials would tell you that society is made up of 90% African American, 5% Asian, 5% white males that can't compete mentally. That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Rowdy introvert. Biden tripping up the stairs is blamed on the wind because wind is related to weather, weather is related to climate, and climate is the number one threat to civilization as we know it. So when you mock the wind, you mock our civilization.
Huh.
It's powerful. Yeah, that's true, too. All right. Keith found this on No Can Do.
Oh, yeah.
Innocent-sounding phrase, but it isn't. It's derived from Pidgin English in the 19th century when Americans said it to mock Chinese immigrants.
Because that's what we think. Every time we say no can do.
I think of I can't go for that. No can do. I can't go for that. No can do. No. I can't go for that. No can do. That's what I think of.
And then I think of like some weird brass playing right after that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, now I need to go listen to Hall & Oates. Thank you for that.
And what are they? They're two white guys. That's what they are. Oh, two white guys with their white privilege. Yes. Singing about white fragility.
Oh.
Toxic masculinity.
Oh.
Man-eater. Huh. Okay. I mean, these guys were...
Right?
They should be in prison. Hall & Oates.
Don't give them any ideas.
Can these words and phrases ever shed their racist origins? Language changes constantly, and we should account for the possibility that what was offensive could in time grow innocuous. And that's absolutely what's happened.
Totally.
To No Can Do. Nobody thinks of that as a racial slur of any kind. Come on.
Somebody wanted to be offended, and they found a way. But read that other one that was right under that, if you can. I mean, it talks about how they were determined to find that call a spade a spade.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, that's totally racist. And so they went back in time, and they found it all the way traced back to ancient Greek.
And it wasn't racist.
And it had nothing to do with racism whatsoever.
Right. But now they think it does.
Because you say it doesn't make it so.
No, that's right. I don't know anybody who has racial undertones or overtones when they say that. Let's call a spade a spade. That means just call it what it is. Right?
Right. It is what it is.
Dude, it just is what it is.
Wait, look on the screen there. It was wrong then. It's wrong now. Okay, well, if it was right then it's right now. How about that one?
How about that one?
How about that one?
Morgan Stanley now, another corporation, requesting employees fulfill diversity quotas in job application, in the job application process. One of the nation's top investment banking firms now has fallen into this stuff. According to internal slides obtained by the Daily Wire, Morgan Stanley is mandating that job application pools meet a 50% threshold of diverse candidates. Employees were told to contact the company's human resources department if they can't meet the requirements. Diverse applicants are considered female or individuals that identify as Black, Hispanic, or Asian. Oh, you just have to identify. So Rachel Dolezal, I guess, qualifies, right? or anybody who identifies as black but is white can be part of your diversity quota.
Problem solved.
In one recruitment PowerPoint slide, employees were shown a 4-step process of recruiting and were told that diversity and inclusion were the pinnacle of steps 1 and 3, sourcing and interviewing. Our commitment to diversity and inclusion is demonstrated throughout our recruiting practices, most notably in the sourcing and interviewing of candidates. During the sourcing candidates portion of recruitment, employees were told that job descriptions must not be only effective, but also inclusive. Employees are encouraged to partner with human resources to garner a diverse pool of candidates.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, don't worry about whether or not they're qualified for the job. Let's just make sure that they have the right gender, the right ethnicity, and make sure they're not white. Essentially.
Right. I think if my money is with Morgan Stanley, it's getting moved today.
Yeah.
Although it's probably happening everywhere. Because we know this. Corporations.
Coke.
It just depends on who sneaks out the slides from their diversity training. But yeah, be less white.
Well, in California, there's a bill proposing removing cops who express religious or conservative beliefs. A new bill introduced by California State Assembly member Ash Kalra in San Jose would prohibit police officers from serving if they've used arbitrarily defined hate speech or are affiliated with a hate group. The bill, known as the California Law Enforcement Accountability Reform Act, or CLEAR, claims to combat the infiltration of extremists in our law enforcement agencies and would mandate a background check for all officers who have exchanged racist and homophobic messages. He claims it's necessary to prevent the apparent cooperation, participation, and support of some law enforcement in the January 6th Capitol breach. The bill defines hate speech as advocating or supporting the denial of constitutional rights of, the genocide of, or violence towards any group of persons based upon race, ethnicity, nationality, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, or disability. Okay, well, I mean, how many people actually advocate or support denying people their constitutional rights? You can find probably several of them at Twitter. You can find them at Google. You can find them in the Biden administration, but you're not going to find them in people applying for law enforcement in California.
No, and if you belong to some Christian church, right, then it could be extrapolated from that bill that, y'all read from the Bible?
Oh, that's a hate book.
Let's pull out some verses there. And then, boom, you're off the force.
Of course that could happen.
And that reality of that bill, that's exactly what would happen.
Yep. Brian Wilson, the Beach Boys lead singer.
Wow,
and,
he's in the news, huh?
Yeah, he's in the news.
Wow. What's he been up to?
Well, some mental health issues and some drug abuse and, writing a few songs along the way. And who among us, right? All right? First of all, that was a long time ago. Brian Williams griping about why conservatives always have to say communist China. Check this out.
I hate to say it, but we are in a Cold War with China. Let's hope it doesn't turn hot. Why am I seeing so many people in the cheap seats? And that, by the way, is the definition of Twitter. The cheap seats, talking up some kind of a confrontation, war with China. Why, as I mentioned last night, have we seen, just in the last 2 weeks, mentions, especially on the right in the media, of people only calling it communist China, like when you and I were growing up?
What?
Because of the spectrum of contentious issues between the two nations.
Thank you.
And you heard Tony Blinken, who you and I both know well. He is balanced, sensible, hardly on the right. Yet on public cameras, he talks about treatment of Uyghurs as a genocide, that China's preposterous claims to own the entire South China Sea, a body of water, Brian, that's half the size of the continental United States. It's enormous. The crackdown on human rights in Hong Kong, theft of intellectual property, the recent cyber hacks. I could go on and on. This is real. And can we still avoid a conflict? Absolutely. But if we don't measure the distance between us, we can never close it.
Why did
Great answer.
Yeah, it was a great answer. And by the way, he didn't use communist China in the lead up.
No.
Play that again at the beginning. He doesn't say communist China.
Brian just
I hate to say it, but we are in a Cold War with China. Let's hope it doesn't turn hot.
I mean, that's it. But why would you call it communist China? I don't know, because it is communist China.
Right, because they're doing communist things. They're claiming territory as their own. They're stealing from intellectual property.
They're cracking down against the agreement in Hong Kong.
Right, the human rights violations. They're detaining people for their religious beliefs. I don't know, Brian, because they're communist.
Jeez, that's just really bizarre. A better question would be, why are people like Brian Williams apologizing for communist China?
Right.
Why are you supporting communist China? What is going on there? Even the Biden administration has already butted heads with communist China and Russia after saying that, Donald Trump was so bad in relations with foreign entities. We're going to fix all of that. Well, they've already had shouting matches with the Chinese and the Russians. Jeez. All right. Let me tell you about Rough Greens. Got to take 60 seconds here, and we've been talking about Rough Greens for quite a while now. It's a powder that you sprinkle over your dog's food. Really simple. With that simple act, you're providing your dog with essential vitamins and minerals, probiotics, omega oils, basically everything your dog needs to be healthier. And if your dog is like mine, they're going to love this stuff right out of the gate. And anybody I know who's tried this stuff, their dog has loved it. Even the picky ones who literally wouldn't eat their food before now gobble it down because the Rough Greens is on it. So it really, to the dogs, it tastes good to them. Now, sometimes, though, apparently, your dog can take a little bit longer to get used to Rough Greens. So the first thing we need to discover is if your dog will eat it. That's why they're offering a free bag of Rough Greens right now for your dog to try out. All you pay for is shipping. Just go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Roughgreens.com or call 833-ROUGH-DOG.
It's Pat Gray Unleashed on the Blaze.
Here's a Virginia teacher fighting back against critical race theory, this permeating our society right now, that is beating down our kids, our white kids, in classes all over this country, making them feel guilty about being white, making them feel like they've done something wrong, like they're racists and there's nothing they can do about it. If they're not acting exactly as they're told with this anti-racist thing, then they're just bad people. Here's one Virginia teacher going against that.
Hi, I'm a teacher speaking on behalf of every fed-up teacher in this nation. This school district continues to show up on national news, and it is absolutely embarrassing to see what once used to be the nation's leading school district has desecrated to. This school district is upon almost every single school district in the nation that continues to force teachers through mandatory training where we are told to examine our whiteness, white privilege, white supremacy, microaggressions upon every other thing that is absolutely stupid and racist. Now, the same school district wants to threaten to fire teachers who do not agree with a critical race theory. You are the face of privilege. You do not speak for us if you do not work with us. If you keep up this racist insanity, you will have successfully stripped us of every ounce of love of teaching, and so far you have succeeded in doing that. Keep this up, and you will lose all of your teachers at the same rate that you have been losing these incredible families who, some of you, fall asleep when they're trying to get your attention. God bless.
Nice.
Put that in your pipe.
That's great. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take everybody doing that, and not just white people. We need our allies.
And if she had said that at a meeting and nobody shared it on social media, and then nobody retweeted it, and then nobody shared it, and then nobody posted it, then it would have been like shouting in a forest to nobody.
Yep.
But so when you see people being brave and speaking up like that, share that, because some teacher's going to see that, and they're going to feel empowered enough to do it at their next school board meeting, and so on.
Also, Governor Ron DeSantis has put his foot down on the critical race theory situation, on that being possibly taught in public schools.
Florida civics curriculum will incorporate foundational concepts with the best materials, and it will expressly exclude unsanctioned narratives like critical race theory and other unsubstantiated theories.
Nice.
You can clap.
Yeah, okay, one person.
Please clap.
Maybe two people.
Let me be clear. There's no room in our classrooms for things like critical race theory. Teaching kids to hate their country and to hate each other is not worth 1 red cent of taxpayer money.
Thank you.
Good.
So we will invest in actual, solid, true curriculum, and we will be a leader in the development and implementation of a world-class civics education.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
We are in a time where common sense is heroic.
Right. Because it's so rare.
It's so rare.
Nobody stands up and says things like that. And so when it does happen, it's like, it's like manna from heaven.
And I'd say, just based on today's news, with Kristi Noem rejecting that transgender bill, and Governor DeSantis talking about critical race theory being banned in Florida public schools, so far he is now pulled ahead in the 2024 race.
He also says, and you're going to like this, he also says no to vaccine passports for Floridians. They're not going to need a vaccine passport. Not in the state of Florida.
Nice.
He said, I just want to make very clear, in Florida, we are not doing any vaccine passports. I think it's a bad idea. And so that will not happen. And so folks should get vaccinated if they want to, obviously provide that. But under no circumstances will the state be asking you to show proof of vaccination. And I don't think private companies should be doing that either. So we're going to look into see what we can do, what we'd be able to do to make sure we're protecting Floridians. But I do think it would be a big problem to start going down the road of vaccine passports. Yeah, me too, Ron.
Okay.
Me too. This guy is...
Now he's 2 lengths ahead.
Yeah, he's on fire right now. He really is. And I guess they're having some issues in Miami Beach with spring break right now.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who are running around at night in close quarters without masks.
No
masks at all.
So
they're not wearing them.
Want people to die, obviously.
They want people to die. Exactly right, Keith. Thank you.
That hurts to hear.
Thank you for just going ahead and saying it, what needed to be said.
Somebody needs to.
They want people to die. Exactly right. So they're in Miami Beach, and Miami Beach's mayor has said, please go home. We don't want you here anymore.
Wait,
I guess they're getting a little rowdy, too.
He didn't just say put on a mask?
No, he didn't. He said, get out. Yeah, we're done with you.
Oh, so they're getting rowdy.
Enough. Some of them are, yeah. They're getting rowdy.
So the issue in the mainstream media is they're not wearing masks, and it's basically a super spreader event, week-long super spreader event. But in reality, it's just a crime wave.
In reality, 300 people were arrested for felonies. Felonies, not just misdemeanors. So that means they're not being arrested for not wearing their mask. They're being arrested for breaking the law.
Oh, see, and I heard this was freedom run amok because of Ron DeSantis' policy of no mask.
That's the way they made it sound, yeah. That is the way they made it sound. But that's apparently not what's happening. They're getting a little carried away because they've been pent up for a year and now they want to let loose. And so they're getting a little out of control. And it's hard to blame the municipalities for wanting people to calm down a little bit and not commit crimes in their city. I don't blame them for that. But to present it as if it's just a mask situation is just disingenuous, and it's a lie. And at the Super Bowl, it was kind of proven when you're outside partying like that, there's almost no spread of the virus.
Mm-hmm.
That was not a super spreader event, and everybody thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't.
They're saying the same thing in Florida, the Daytona 500. Where's the super spreader event the doom and gloom that was predicted there? All of these events, and there were several I saw listed. I can't recall all of them that have been taking place.
Mm-hmm.
Still waiting for that spike in Florida. You know where the spikes are happening? Ironically enough, it's where the vaccines have been distributed more than other places. So you noodle that one out. But that's where you're seeing spikes, is the states that are doing a good job of distributing the vaccine.
It's interesting, Ivan.
I mean,
is there a number of people can call?
I'm not concluding anything from that other than that's just a fact.
Yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, Oregon going the other way. Their health officials are proposing making masks permanent. The mask mandate might become permanent.
Do it. And then everybody that wants to live among the masked can move there.
Right. That's a good point.
And call it Mask Colony USA.
Whether you're in New York or Texas or wherever you think these mandates are essential to surviving this plague. Move to Oregon, you'll be completely safe because the mask mandate is forever.
If seeing my face at Walmart upsets you that much, I mean...
Well, it upsets me at Walmart or here.
Right,
or
I see that.
Whether I'm in my living room looking at you on my computer.
And then see, I've got a mirror. I got it.
Upsets me.
I understand what you're saying.
So, this is a different thing you're talking about,
sure.
Right?
But if seeing people's faces disturbs you that much, and you're like, oh my gosh, the man doesn't have a mask.
I'm so scared. I'm so scared.
Move to Oregon.
Yeah, the current order passed in November by the state's Workplace Safety Department, which requires all employees to implement state-imposed guidelines for social distancing and mask compliance, is set to expire May 4th. But now Oregon health bureaucrats are seeking to make the rules permanent. Although the rule must be adopted as a permanent rule, its purpose is to address the COVID-19 pandemic. So Oregon would intend to repeal the rule when it's no longer necessary to address the pandemic.
Right. And their track record shows that they'll repeal that any day now, right?
No. You kind of no. Actually, it means they'd probably, it would be permanent. They'll probably never repeal it. It's tragic to watch. Steve Richards said. Steve Richards. It's hard as a coach to send your kids out there. Yeah. There's been a lot of theorizing about the health risks between wearing a mask and not wearing one, and I can't speak to those. I just know the looks on their faces. They're running their guts out.
These kids in Little League, man.
And the Little Leaguers, they don't want to have to wear a mask while they're
practice and games and
while they're playing.
It's madness. But yeah, they're implementing this to be determined time frame on these masks at a time when their infection rates are less than half of what they were when they implemented that policy to begin with. It's a control issue, man.
Yeah, they're not going to give it up.
There's nothing about safety. Wake the hell up. We're out of time on this, man.
Don't want to give it up.
You've got to fight back right now, not fight with fists and weapons.
Oh, thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, right.
That, I thought you were talking about killing
people. You've got
to
in 2021.
You were talking about killing people, weren't you? Until you clarified it, and then I realized, whew, phew.
Scared you, didn't I?
Okay, maybe he's not talking about killing people.
Well.
All right, have a great day. See you tomorrow.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.